I am Gary Parrish. Welcome back to the CBS Sports Eye on College Basketball podcast, where we sometimes discuss camel fighting dodo birds and leaky black. Matt Norlander is here with me. If you're watching on YouTube, be Brandon Davies. Smash the like button. WWBDD. What would Brandon Davies do? If you're one of us, let the world know in the chat. Put it in the comments. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the CBS Sports Eye on College Basketball podcast. Please do that wherever you subscribe to podcasts, like Apple, Spotify. Let's get into it. Awesome game Thursday night down in Tuscaloosa. The final score, Purdue 87, Alabama 80. 3 days after the Boilermakers were demoted from number 1 to number 2 in the AP poll, Matt Painter's team entered Coleman Coliseum and left with what is arguably now the best victory anybody has so far this season. They beat a top 10 team on the road. More specifically, they went on the road and beat a top 10 team that had just 5 days earlier won at St. John's. Braden Smith was tremendous, 29 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists in 34 minutes. Despite being roughly my height, he grabbed at least 3 more rebounds than every single Alabama player. Norlander,
hello.
Good to see you on this Friday morning. Special shouts to Oasis. What'd you make of what Purdue did at Alabama last night?
Yeah, slip inside the eye of your mind. You know, you might find a better place to play. That was Tuscaloosa for Purdue on Thursday. Really fun game. You mentioned the rebounds for Smith. Oates had a comment after. He said, you know, he was praising what Smith was doing. He said our leading rebounder had 4. You know, so just a really good. There's a number of different angles I want to take here, and we got plenty of time because it was the only notable game of the past 2 nights. But Braden Smith having the kind of performance on the road that reaffirmed his preseason National Player of the Year status, I think, is the biggest takeaway. But there's a lot here, just to see him step up the way he did, and he did so despite having a 6-minute stretch in the first half where he got sat. And had he had a typical normal game, like his stat line would have even been bigger. But the way he commanded the floor, getting Trey Kaufman-Renn back, obviously that's also huge. And Renn having an immediately impactful game was major. Purdue gets a 7-point margin, but the game had 22 lead changes. It had 14 ties. It would have had a closer margin if Alabama could have scored in the final minute and 40, but it didn't. It was 80-80, and then Purdue had the final 7 points overall. It was the program's first non-conference road win against a top 10 opponent since Louisville in 1982. Good on Purdue, which has managed to beat Alabama, oh, by the way, 3 times in as many years. 3 seasons in a row, these programs have played in the non-conference, and all 3 times Purdue has won. In those games, Braden Smith averaged 24.3 points, 7.3 assists, 6.0 rebounds. He'd take Alabama every month if he could. But that's not how it goes. I got some more goodies, but I'll toss it back to you. What were your thoughts on what transpired down south on Thursday night?
Well, first, Nate Oates can't get Braden Smith and Trey Kaufman-Renn out of school fast enough, because them two have been destroying the Crimson Tide for the past couple of seasons, and in Braden's case, the past 3. 29.7 rebounds, 4 assists. Incredible stat line. The 4 assists, that's no way to break Bobby Hurley's all-time assist record. That's going to get you off pace a little bit.
I tried to tell you.
but man, it's not just the box score. I mean, you can look at that and see he was, great. But it's just the way he controlled the entire game. I mean, particularly in the second half, when they just give him a ball screen and he just gets where he wants to go, and he's putting defenders on his back, and he's drawing fouls in the final minute. He's just in complete control. And I know that this freshman class is amazing. And by the time we get to the end of it, we could be in a Darren Peterson, Cameron Boozer, AJ DeBonsa, Koa Pete, Caleb Wilson debate for National Player of the Year. But this is the preseason National Player of the Year, and he reminded everybody last night of why. He is arguably the best point guard in the country. I think most people would absolutely label him that way, but I'll leave some wiggle room. And he is running what is arguably also the best college basketball team in the country, even if AP voters, punished them a little bit early Monday morning.
Yeah, that was, I think we talked about that on the show. I definitely talked about it on HQ. Purdue got twice as many first place votes as Houston, but with the way that the points are tallied, when the ballots are sent in, team 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Houston narrowly jumped Purdue by, I think, 3 total points. Not 3 votes, 3 points. Be interesting to see if Purdue can rip that number 1 ranking back, regardless of what happens to Houston. Foreshadowing. We'll get to that in the final 4 and 1. Couple more things from the game. Purdue destroyed Alabama on the glass. 2 very different kinds of styles, for sure. 2 different kinds of coaches. That's our poll question right now. If you could have one coach for the next 5 years, who would you take, Matt Painter or Nate Oates? We'll get to those results in just a little bit. Let that cook and let our viewers chime in on that poll question. But Alabama only getting 28 total rebounds to Purdue's 52. Then if you go to rebound percentage, which usually tells the story even more accurately, Purdue got 82.5% of their defensive rebounds, so Alabama's missed shots. And then on their own missed shots, Purdue grabbed 47.5% of those attempts. It did this. It won. It didn't have a single fast break point in the game, which typically, not always, but if you've got a person who should be considered the best point guard in the sport, as valuable as anyone else, to win a game on the road against a top 10 opponent with someone that's that in command of an offense and not get a single fast break point is just wild stuff. 8 Alabama players made at least 1 3-pointer last night. Each team took 66 shots, but 44 of Alabama's were from beyond the arc. They shot 36%. Purdue was more accurate with, not quite as many shots. Trey Kaufman-Renn having his debut and going off was the other part of it. Smith was the most important player on the floor, but Kaufman-Renn was the game started and he was champing at the bit. He was an absolute beast. Credit to ESPN Stats and Information, which sent this out late on Thursday. TKR is the 3rd player in the last 30 seasons to have at least 15 points, 15 rebounds, and 5 assists in an AP top 10 matchup. Not even necessarily on the road, but he was here. Joe Forte, which is a great throwback. Joe Forte, one of my favorite players ever. He did it in 2001 for Carolina. And then Tim Duncan did it in 96 for Wake Forest. So Kaufman-Renn doing what he did, like as the game was playing out, not knowing who was going to win, when he was such an immediately impactful player, GP, last night, I'm watching this, I'm going, okay, is Purdue really going to have 2 of the 10 best players in the sport this season? Because that was on the table going in. We see TKR immediately just becoming a force. And if that's going to be the case, then, Purdue's preseason number 1 ranking is going to age extremely well. I think Purdue has the best win of the first 2 weeks of the season in the sport. You could have said it was Alabama, but Alabama just lost at home to Purdue. Bama got their win against St. John's. This was a true road environment. Louisville's win over Kentucky was really nice, but that one was at home. Arizona got a really nice win to open the season against Florida. That was on a neutral floor. No one has a road win, I think, of the level of Purdue. Again, we're not even 2 full weeks in, but really, really impressed there. What else stood out to you from the game?
Well, first, just I agree with you. I think they've got now the best win of any team in the country, and that means that barring an Akron upset this weekend,
right,
Purdue is going to be 4-0 with the best win in the country on Monday and still might not be number 1, even though they were preseason number 1. This is wildly unusual stuff. I would encourage I don't really care. The AP voters can do whatever they want. I'm over that. Life's too short. But they looked like they reminded folks again, just like Braden Smith reminded folks why he was the preseason National Player of the Year. Purdue reminded folks why they were the preseason number 1 team in the AP poll. The offensive rebounding was obviously incredible. 19 offensive boards. If you remember, Purdue was top 10 in the country in offensive rebounding percentage in both years that Zach Edey won the Wooden Award. And the second he left the program and then Daniel Jacobson got hurt early last season, they really struggled to maintain any sort of advantage on the offensive glass. I think they dropped to 123rd in the country in offensive rebounding percentage last season. Last night, tremendous again, and some of that is because Trey Kaufman-Renn, I think, is playing with another big instead of being the big, and he's better in this role. I like him here. The way he was very early, like it took him no time to get comfortable, even though he had missed the first 2 games of the season. He's catching the ball at the elbow. He's facing up. He's got that little jump hook that looks like is reliable. he's just an awesome college player. And 19, 15, and 5 last night. You put the historical standards on it. 26-8 against Alabama last season, so he gave it to them 2 years in a row. Nate Oates in his postgame last night talked about Purdue's defensive approach. They really packed it in and said, all right, Alabama, if you want to take 44 threes, take 44 threes. We're going to trust that you're not going to make a good enough percentage of them, but we're going to try not to give you anything at the rim. We're going to try to take away the driving lanes, force you to kick it out and make shots. And they just didn't make enough of them. I mean, they made 16. That's a big raw number, but 16 of 44 is not it's a fine percentage, but it obviously wasn't enough to get them there. But they can get it points from beyond the arc in a lot of different places, as you pointed out. I think they had 10 made threes in the first half, which was interesting. 10 made threes in the first half, and you're down a bucket. That's not normal. Mm-hmm. But then 6 different Alabama players, by my count, made a 3 in the first 16 minutes of the game. So they've got guys who can shoot it. Last night, the percentage was a little lower than I think they'd like to be. And with the way Braden Smith was able to control things down the stretch, Purdue gets out of there with a big, big win.
And if you're watching, you can see the box score here. LeBaron Philon, 11 points, 1 of 6 from deep. Box score does tell the story here, just not the level of impact that I frankly expected. He is too good of a player, too fast of a player, too good of an athlete. Now that speaks to Purdue's preparedness, Painter's coaching, all of that. I just thought he would be more impactful. Aiden Holloway showed up. He had 21 points, had a number of big buckets as the game went along. Taylor Bowen had some nice moments there. Aiden Sherrill as well. But I thought Philon was going to show up bigger than he did. It just didn't happen. And the kind of game for a sophomore. Okay, you had a big time opponent in your building. It didn't go your way. Good learning opportunity, and Alabama's going to have so many games. In fact, Alabama is just loaded right now in terms of their schedule. They might have a stretch here that is unmatched in the sport this season, Parrish. So they just played St. John's. They get Purdue. Next is Illinois. Then it's Gonzaga at the Players Era. They'll play UNLV in their second game in the Players Era, and then they'll have another game, which will be a high major opponent. And then after that, they will play Clemson. So count them up. Johnny's, Purdue, Illinois, Gonzaga. We'll nudge UNLV out of there. An undetermined Players Era and Clemson. That is 6 out of 7 games in the non-conference against high major opponents. And not just that, all except 2 of them are away from their building. I don't think there's a team in the God bless Nate Oates. I mean, that's madman scheduling, but he's just not scared. Purdue is 5 at Ken Palm. Illinois is 4. Gonzaga is 3. That's the next 3 opponents as well. On the whole, maybe UConn, a couple other teams might have a tougher non-conference schedule overall. But in terms of a stretch right now, Alabama is in it. They're not going to get out of November with fewer than at least, they've got 1. They're going to have at least 2. And if you told me it was 3 or 4, I'd believe you. But because of the way that they play, I still even if let's say they get dropped against Illinois next week, they manage to beat Gonzaga in Vegas, but then lose it. They go 1-2 at the Players Era. I still if they can beat Clemson, not have an issue with UNLV. They already have the win at St. John's. I'd still probably overall consider Alabama to be top 15 caliber. The schedule is just a beast. So just keep an eye on that as we turn ahead with the Tide there. They are about to endure the toughest November of any team in the country. Swing it back to Purdue real quick. Just a couple more goodies. You mentioned the bigs. I thought Clough, just an immediate fit. To see him against a high-level opponent doing what he did, I was like, this is going to work. If they stay healthy, a lot of the Purdue can be the best team in the country, and seeing how that all comes together, it crystallized. And that's even with Fletcher Loyer having an okay game. They didn't play at their absolute max capacity. Just a lot of stuff to be really inspired from there. And then, Josh, if you have it, toss up the Hummel tweet on the screen. I actually went and got even more information from Chris Foreman, who does a great job with Purdue. So Robbie Hummel, who I think played at Purdue, got to fact check that. He tossed up a tweet last night that showed the last 4 years worth of non-conference wins for Purdue with the TKR, Braden Smith, Fletcher Loyer class. So you can see that. There's even more though. So this group, this Purdue class, dating back to their first year, they have taken out 11 teams away from home in the non-conference. That also accounts for NCAA tournament games. You're not home. Those teams that were ranked heading into the tournament. And if you factor in the road wins in league play, they have 14 total wins against ranked opponents away from Mackey. It's outstanding. And that it's 14 now. It's conceivable that by the end of their NCAA tournament run, whenever it gets, they're going to have at least 20 wins away from home against ranked competition. Speaks to, obviously, the culture there, having those players. I know a couple people in the chat mentioned this morning the fact that you have Lawyer and Smith. They enter together. They've been 4-year starters alongside. This is just a rarity. But you can stay the course, have a really, really good coach. These are the benefits to all of that. So that was a good observation by Hummel, and then I dug a little bit deeper there. If you want the teams, it's Gonzaga in 22, Duke in 22, Gonzaga in 23, Tennessee in 23, Marquette in 23, Arizona in 23 when Arizona was number 1, Utah State in 24 in the tournament, Gonzaga in the tournament in 24, Tennessee in the tournament in 24, Ole Miss last November, and then Alabama on Thursday night. Those are the non-cons. They also beat Ohio State, Wisconsin, and Illinois on the road since TKR, Braden Smith, and Fletcher Lawyer got to campus.
No, I put it in the top 25 and 1. Since Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer entered the program in the previous 3 years, it's 2 Big Ten regular season titles, 1 Big Ten tournament title, 3 straight NCAA tournament appearances, 2 Sweet 16s, a trip to the national title game. And obviously this season they can add another Big Ten regular season title. They can reasonably add another Big Ten tournament title, and they can reasonably add another trip to the Final Four, perhaps, maybe even the national championship. You ran through Alabama's schedule, which is ridiculous. For Purdue, it is now Akron this weekend. Then next week they go to the Bahamas, and they'll be at the Baha Mar Championship. They get Memphis first. In the other part of the bracket, it's Texas Tech and Wake Forest. So if those games go as projected, it would be an awesome matchup in the Bahamas in the title game there. Purdue against Texas Tech, the reigning Big Ten Player of the Year, Braden Smith, on one side, the reigning Big 12 Player of the Year, JT Toppin, on the other. There were only 3 consensus All-Americans who returned to college for this season, and 2 of them would be on the court against each other in the Bahamas next week. On Alabama.
Yeah.
You mentioned what they're going through right now. But even when they're through with this stretch, there's still just more stuff. It's Arizona, and then they've got Yale. And I just saw Yale at the Veterans Classic the other night.
Yeah. Top 100 team in the country. Yeah.
Oh,
good.
Better than that.
Yeah.
That team is good enough to get a 12 seed in the tournament and then beat a 5. I talked to James Jones about it. I even said, you know what it looks like? Have a team that gets to the tournament, wins games in the tournament. What does it look like? He said, well, we play Alabama in a little while. Talk to me after that. But, that's another wild opponent for Alabama. And then you open SEC play with Kentucky. So this is an ambitious schedule. Also one you only put together, I think, when you have incredible job security. It's a job security non-conference schedule. And I applaud Nate Oates for putting it together, because the more compelling basketball games we get, the better, as far as I'm concerned. 2
notes, then we can get to the Final Four in one. One, that Akron game on Sunday for Purdue. Painter's going for win 500 in his career. Akron's actually a viable team out of the MAC, but we expect Purdue to win there. And then real-time results from the poll. Next 5 years, who would you rather have running your program? Now, I think we have some Purdue enthusiasm in the chat a day after a win. That typically happens, so maybe we got a little slant there. 83% say Painter over Oates for the next 5 seasons. If you took that to the open market in college basketball, be interesting. That'd be very competitive. Nate Oates is viewed. Alabama fans know they have a really, really good one there, and they hope that they can hold on to him for another 20 years. But if any coach was able to be put on the market right now, I think Oates and Painter would, and Oates probably would even command even more because he's a little bit younger there. But the chat says 83% for Painter. Look at that. Purdue getting a little bit of love. I know the Boiler fans in the chat are maybe tilting the results of that just a bit.
I think if you're a college basketball fan, you'd probably be happy with either one of them. You'd probably be happy with either one of them. Final 4 and 1 presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. That's coming up next. I'll tell you how I did in week 1.
Oh, I can't wait.
I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to lie about it. Let's see if anybody fact checks me. We'll do that next. Let's first get a word from our partners.
When you need your sports news all the time,
we've got breaking news to bring to you.
CBS Sports HQ gives you a snapshot of all the sports that matter to you. When you need your sports in a snap, find it on CBS Sports HQ, streaming free anywhere you are.
The Final Four and One presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more. This is week 2 of the Final Four and One. As you know, if you're keeping track, I am 5-0 through the first 5 picks of this season.
Liar!
Damn it.
Do we have a graphic, Josh? I mean, we might not have a graphic. I can simply say
I hope we don't have a graphic.
Let's get a graphic going forward.
No, I don't need
Let's get a graphic, big cutouts of our faces on it. Really hammer home the point. I'm ready to completely reverse course here. I went 3-2. You went 1-4. Not only did you go 1-4, some of them were just brutal and atrocious.
Well, I mean, the Mississippi Riverhawks could not have let me down more.
44 to. How about this? Even putting that game on the Final Four one was egregious, but the fact it actually couldn't have been better for the show because the line was 33.5. UConn was covering 33.5 with like 5 minutes to go in the first half. It's got to be, if not a first and almost first ever. When would you ever have a line of 30 plus points and a team is covering the game line before the final TV timeout of the first half? 44-3. UConn got out to a lead last week against UMass. UMass has been banned from the Final Four and 1 for eternity.
You don't have that kind of authority around here, all right? But point taken. Point taken. That was
it was 55-10 with 3:57 to go in the first half.
I thought they still had a run in them at that point. I thought they had a run in them, but they didn't. They did not. So I wanted for
some games.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna be better this week. Game 1, Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern. It's number 5 Arizona versus number 15 UCLA inside the Kawhi Leonard Dome in Inglewood. You can watch it on Peacock. The line is Arizona -2.5.
I was wondering who you were going to give the dome to here. A lot of options. Frankly, I thought you might be giving it to Pablo Torre, but you decided to go Kawhi.
I'm going to give it to Kawhi, but here's the thing. He doesn't have to show up. He don't have to do nothing for it. He could just it's his. We're giving it to him. He don't have to do nothing for it. In keeping with the pattern of Kawhi Leonard jobs, we're going to allow him to accept money to put his name on the dome. And he ain't got to do nothing else. That's it. He's done enough.
Okay. Let's not make this man work more than he has to. Fun little Friday night game here. You said Arizona's 2.5?
That's what I didn't say it. The bookmakers did.
Okay. Arizona going for a win over a second-ranked opponent. I think if they get it, Arizona would be the first team to get 2 ranked wins this season, I think. They obviously beat Florida in the season opener. UCLA is looking for its first win against a top 5 opponent since January of 2022 when it beat Arizona. It's lost 4 straight games against AP top 5 teams since. By the way, this game will be played in this building 2 years in a row. Why Arizona and UCLA couldn't simply opt into a home and home? Well, it's not anyone's guess. I know both schools are getting paid to play this game at the Clippers facility. That might be what was the company? What was the company?
Aspiration.
Aspiration might be. UCLA and Arizona might want to check and make sure the deal's on the up and up here. Okay, these neutral site games, you get these third parties involved, try and toss 200, 300, 400, 500K. Just make sure Aspiration isn't involved in the paying situation here. Last season, UCLA beat Arizona 57-54. That game was in Phoenix. They were down 13 in the second half. 2 players in that game are going to play in this game, Tyler Bilodeau and Sky Clark. They had 32 of UCLA's points. These are obviously familiar foes. 115th all-time meeting between the schools. UCLA leads the series 64-50. How many points Coop going for in this game, GP?
As many as he wants.
As many as he wants. How many does he want?
I think he wants 23.
Okay. I'll take the over. You say the over under 23, I'll take the over. UCLA's got some viability in that front court there, but I will go. Oh, man, the Mick Cronin post-game press conference potential is immense here. I will say Arizona gets it done, wins. It's a good late night tip. Take Zona something like 75-70. Like a really good game, but they cover the 2.5. Give me Tommy Lloyd's Wildcats.
UCLA is 3-0, ranked 15th in the AP poll, but plummeting in the computers. Take a guess if you remove all preseason bias over at Bart. It's not too early.
Too early you're getting messy. You're getting into these, removing the bias. You're sorting the data. We're not even 2 weeks in, and you're sorting data.
I'm already sorting data. You're going to look up. It's going to be December. You're going to be like, man, I wish I'd have been sorting data like GP.
That's fine. No, December is prime data sorting season. When the calendar flips to December 1, 3 things happen.
You're late. You're 2000 and late.
Quoting the Black Eyed Peas?
Yes.
On the show?
Yes.
That's the first one.
You're
2008. You're 2000 and late. Good job. Get it together, please.
You're 2000 and late.
December 1.
I'm gonna have all the data sorted. You're gonna be sitting around waiting on the calendar to flip. I'll already have it sorted.
Free shopping, the net rankings revealed, and it's data sorting season. Okay. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying you get yourself into a little bit of trouble there. There's a lot of buy games happening. It's a lot of smoke and mirrors, okay?
Here's what I'm saying. I'm saying my wife came home with Christmas presents yesterday, and when she walked in the front door, asked me what I was doing. I was sitting at my desk sorting data. We're ahead of schedule. We're ahead of schedule in the Parrish household.
That's good on your wife. November 13 and already on the Christmas present game?
I don't know what's going on.
That's impressive.
I stay out of it. I don't feel like it's any of my business.
It's just your family. It's not your business. All right. If you sort the data, what's UCLA at? I'm gonna say this is a truly blind guess. I'll say 57. I have
111th.
Okay.
100.
Again, you can't be sorting data. You can't be sorting data within a week of Veterans Day. That's my personal credo. But go ahead.
I sort data to honor the veterans.
They'd want you to do that.
That's what they would want me to do. That's what both of my grandfathers are veterans, and I know if they were here today, if I could talk to them one more time,
yeah,
they would be appreciative that I sort data in their honor so close to Veterans Day. Don't talk to me when it's Christmas Eve and you don't have any presents and your data's not sorted. And you're scrambling.
I'm all covered on Christmas Eve. The data couldn't be more sorted, more cleanly columnized out.
I know your type. I know your type. I've seen you. I've seen you at Walgreens on Christmas Eve trying to justify buying your wife a back massager. I know your type. I've seen you at Walgreens.
That is not my type. I'm all over it.
The saddest place in the world is Walgreens on Christmas Eve.
I have found myself. It has only been a couple of times, but there have been 1 or 2 years where it's reached December 24, and I've looked at the inventory and said, I can't get to tomorrow morning, and this is all I get my wife. So then you make the hustle out, and you're like, wow, what went wrong? What did I do wrong? I typically am not in that spot, though.
You're like, I mean, hopefully she'll like a candle. Hopefully maybe I'll put a razor in her stocking. I mean, Walgreens on the Christmas Eve, it's a mess. All right. I know your type. You're going to be sitting around on Christmas Eve. I'll already have all my presents bought, wrapped under the tree, and my data will be sorted. I'm taking Arizona. I can't trust a team that's 111th at Torvik minus preseason bias.
We're on the same side.
We're on the same side. I got to take Arizona. I can't trust a team that's plummeted like this in the computer so early. Not this close to Veterans Day. Game 2, Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Number 3 UConn versus number 7 BYU. Inside, you ready? Let's go ahead and do it. AJ DeBonsa Garden.
No, you did this last year. The chat or someone after the fact is going to have to lift me up. You did this last year with an active player, and they got destroyed. They lost the game. So you just doomed BYU.
That was a different player. This is AJ DeBonsa. You can watch it on Fox. Kim Palm's got it. UConn -6.
Fade down the music here real quick because we actually have a news item we have to address with this game as well.
Oh no,
there's still not clarity. So BYU's 4th leading scorer, Kennard Davis, didn't play in the last game and will not play in this one. He was arrested Thursday morning just before noon local for suspected DUI after getting into a car accident near campus. he had a minor leg injury that kept him out of the previous game, but was expected back for the UConn game. We don't have more details at this point. It is a very curious story. Alleged driving under the influence on a Thursday, like in the late morning. We need to have more information, so I'm not going to dive too deep into it, but obviously not a good situation, period. It was, I guess he was involved with another car, but there were no serious injuries, thankfully, with that. But Kennard Davis starts for BYU. He's probably the team's fifth best player. He's the fourth leading scorer. And now, pending what other information we get, like, is his future on the team in doubt? Is his status in doubt? If he actually was driving under the influence and alcohol was involved, we don't know that to be, a fact yet. But that is an honor code violation. Right. We know what happens at BYU when stuff like this comes into the fore. Coincidentally enough, unfortunately enough, ironically enough, even the last time we had this happen was the Brandon Davis situation for something entirely different. But these are the two best BYU teams of the past 30, 40 years. Yeah. So we wait and see more on this. But this was a headline that broke late Thursday night. And maybe by the time you are taking this podcast later on Friday afternoon, Saturday morning, maybe we have more clarity. Maybe we don't get an update period until Kevin Young speaks to the media after the game on Saturday. But BYU will not have a starter for this game. What did you say the line was? Do we have a line, or we just have KenPom right now?
KenPom -6 is all we have right now.
So I would not having Kennard Davis might affect the real line in real time, but we'll go off that line. I'll make my pick, and then we can get into some more details on the game. I'll just say UConn's going to win by 6 or more. But yes, an unusual situation here where we've got a Final Four in one game, and actually unexpected news emerging, less than 36, 48 hours from when the game will be played.
I'll take UConn's opponent plus the points since that worked so well last week.
Yeah. Okay.
And we obviously over the years have had fun with the honor code at BYU, and we will again, but I don't think this is anything to joke about. Like, this is a serious deal. This young man allegedly put his life in danger, put other people's life in danger. Anytime you get behind the wheel of a vehicle after drinking, you are making a mistake and taking all sorts of risk. I don't say this in a holier than thou way, but like, he's lucky on some level this wasn't worse, if it is as it is alleged. Beyond that, yeah, his college career could be over, at least the college career he thought he was going to have, because of rules in place at BYU. So this is not a joking manner, and perhaps a lesson for all of us, particularly young people. Like, one bad decision can wreck everything. And I say this as somebody who has made plenty of bad decisions throughout their life. Lots of them when I was the same age as Kennard Davis. It's a miracle that I'm unscathed. This is, it's one bad decision, one stupid day can change your life forever. And, 2 days ago, this young man was a key member of a basketball program with Final Four aspirations, and who knows if he ever will be again. And that's again, self-inflicted, it appears, but still a sad deal.
Yeah.
I don't like watching young people mess their lives up.
Agreed. I just, something weird about the story. The fact that this would, like, late Thursday morning, like broad daylight. There's something weird about it.
Sometimes people do drink in the day, Norlander.
I know, but you don't typically get this, especially from,
I understand your point. Yes, of course. It is. These types of stories, when you hear them, they're usually 2:34 a.m.
Correct.
Not 10:34 a.m.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. So we'll wait on more of that. As for the game, this is the first of 6 big non-conference battles for UConn this season. Game is in Boston, stone's throw from Brockton, Massachusetts, where the DeBansas are from. Really cool for both programs to just arrange this game and make it something that can be done and be possible there. It's the second meeting ever between these schools. The first one was in 2003 in the tournament. UConn won that game. AJ DeBansa, Richie Saunders, who actually leads BYU in scoring, and Rob Wright III are combining to average 57.3 points per game. They've looked solid so far. UConn has looked obviously outstanding. even the UMass Lowell game aside. I'll take UConn to win. High hopes that this can be a really entertaining game. We'll see how BYU being shorthanded, whether it affects them or not, but nothing has dissuaded me to start the season of UConn being top 5 caliber, and that will obviously be a very, very heavily slanted UConn backing in the TD Garden on Saturday night.
Yeah, Devonsa might lead the NBA in scoring someday. People talk about him that way, but right now he's not even leading BYU in scoring. That is Richie Saunders at 20.3 points, 7.0 rebounds, 2.3 steals per game. Game 3, Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern. Number 1 Houston versus number 23 Auburn inside Walton Goggins Arena. You can watch it on ESPN. Ken Palm's got it. Houston -5. Shouts to Uncle Baby Billy.
I believe he's gotten an arena named after him before. Was it the same arena? He's definitely gotten a shout before.
He's from Birmingham. He's a Birmingham native.
There we go. Walton Goggins, one of my favorite actors for sure. I'm 2 seasons into
Righteous Gemstones?
Righteous Gemstones. Yeah, it's been a couple months since I've watched. So yeah, I'm way behind, but I'm 2 seasons in. And Goggins, if anyone listening or watching has not watched Justified, that is he's had a number of great performances. That is his best, and Justified is one of the best TV shows of the
Dude,
2000s.
Him as Uncle Baby Billy is hilarious.
Yeah.
He is so good in that role. And that show, LOL, like laugh out loud funny, and was just completely ignored by most of the awards stuff and should not have been. That has been the funniest show on television while it was on television.
I was late to the party, but working my way through it little by little. Over under 0.5 plane fights tied to this game, GP.
I hope over. I hope it's over. I mean, I can't get enough of those.
Over under 0.5 horseplay.
I hope there's some horseplay going on the plane again.
For those that might be like, wait, what? Last year it was when Auburn flew to Houston, and there was a little bit of a would-be brouhaha that emerged on the plane, forced the flight Auburn to turn around, and then Auburn went on to become one of the best teams in the country. So, hey, maybe there's a lesson to be learned there. Auburn does not have to get on a plane for this one, though. Houston's flying to play the game in Birmingham. Auburn won the game, by the way, last season in Houston, 74-69. That really kicked off what was an awesome campaign for the Tigers overall. To be noted in this one, the 2 big-name guards heading into the season for each of these teams have not been that so far. Tahad Pettiford, 11 points per game, shooting just 27.9% from the field and 17.4% from 3. Again, it's early. This is why we don't get too nuts with sorting the data just yet, but he hasn't gotten going yet. And how about Milos Uzan? 8.7 points per game, 4.7 assists, 3.7 rebounds, shooting just 27% from the field. How do each of these guys match up with each other? Do they turn the corner? This is kind of a tough opponent to turn the corner against. For Auburn, Keyshawn Hall has been tremendous. 24.3 points, 11 rebounds to start. He's been their best player. The transfer from UCF, who was one of the best players in the Big 12 last season, who got no run because UCF wasn't any good. He's immediately translated and been one of the better transfers for the first 2 weeks of the season. Elijah Freeman, the D2 player who transferred up to Auburn, he's also had some nice moments there. We'll see if Auburn can put it all together and have itself a nice little game. For Houston, Emmanuel Sharp leading the team in scoring, 17 points. And then Kingston Fleming, a top 20 prospect. He's number 2, 15.7 points per game. He's done well and picked up the scoring slack for Uzan, who's done some other stuff that's been nice, but overall, I don't think Uzan just yet has had the kind of impact I would have expected. I will go Houston to cover here again. By again, I mean, I think that's 3 favorites in a row. I'll take the Cougars to get it done. Want to see how the Tigers look against a legit opponent and really the first big game of Stephen Pearl's career.
You mentioned Keyshawn Hall, transfer from UCF. He's a transfer from everywhere. He's
4 schools in 4 years.
Yes, he's PJ Haggerty. 4 schools in 4 years. That's the PJ Haggerty. He pulled off a Haggerty. He started at UNLV, George Mason, UCF, now at Auburn, and he has been awesome. He's averaged at least 16.6 points as a sophomore in college, as a junior in college, and now as a senior in college. 24.3 points, like you said, for him so far. If 2 Auburn players were to get into a fight on the bus ride to Birmingham, which 2 would they be?
I'm not going there. You tell me.
I think it'd be Keyshawn Hall and Tahad Pettiford. Big fight over shot attempts.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've already got you've got inter-team turmoil With
Yes.
Stephen Pearl's program less than 2 weeks into the season.
I'm inventing it. I want to be clear.
You're inventing it. You're just
I'm
okay.
inventing turmoil in the Auburn program that will escalate on the bus on the ride to Birmingham. I'm predicting a Keyshawn Hall to Todd Pettiford brouhaha over field goal attempts.
Okay.
All right, in the chat, you got to pick 2 Auburn players to fist fight on the bus on the way to the game. Who do you want to fist fight? Put it in the chat.
Who do you got in the game,
I'm
Parrish?
taking Houston -5. Good Lord, it's Kelvin Sampson. Game 4, Sunday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Number 10 Florida versus Miami inside Fred Durst Arena.
Oh, God.
He did it all for the nookie.
From Jacksonville?
Yes,
There's got to be better options.
he did it all for the nookie.
I'll
How
never
many-
have a Fred Durst drop on this board. I'll tell you that much.
Have you ever done it all for the nookie?
What's the line?
You can watch it on ESPN. Kim Palm's got it. Florida -9.
Okay, before we make the pick, I think we need to have a general rule, not hard and fast.
I love the chat with the Auburn fist fights. We've got some good matchups in there.
Reed Trapp and Simon Walker.
Let them go.
That's
Let them go. Let them square up. Let them square up and let's do this thing.
Oh, man. Okay, here's my suggestion. If we're going to have a game in the final 4 and 1, I don't think we can.
Mhm.
I don't think the Sunday night show can end before all games in the final 4 and 1 have been played. So this
Well,
game.
then we will replace this game.
But I don't know. No, but Parrish, in all seriousness, like, I know we're not like raring to go looking to fire up on a Sunday at 10 p.m., but Florida has had a close shave against Florida State. It lost to Arizona. If the Gators were to lose this game, I feel like we need to make sure that they win it before we close business on Sunday, because we wouldn't be doing our job as national voices of the sport by having a Sunday show and not addressing what's going on with the Gators. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. I'll consider it.
You got some more data to sort on Sunday night? You're going to be doing some Christmas shopping Sunday night? You got booked up plans?
What do I have planned on Sunday night? No, I mean, I'll probably just be watching Florida, Miami. Probably just be watching this.
I think we might be able to fire up as the game's going on, but it is a late tip, and I'm not exactly I'm not looking to close up shop at 11 o'clock or so on Sunday. But
Fred Durst did it all for the nookie, and you're trying to do it all for the college basketball fans. You don't want to shortchange anybody on a Sunday night. You're like college basketball's version of Fred Durst. Put your hat on backwards. Pull it down real tight.
I will close the StreamYard. I will close out the StreamYard, and you will finish this podcast again if you call me Fred Durst. The Fred Durst to college basketball. How dare you? I prefer the I'll take the Noel Gallagher of college basketball. I'll take that. Okay. Or what do I have behind me? I've got Talking Heads. I'll take anyone from the Talking Heads instead.
What a wild thing to just announce to the world that you did it all for the nookie. Like all of it. You did all of it for the nookie.
It's one of those things that I think just goes unsaid. Fred Durst, one of us, obviously.
I mean, clearly one of us, and committed to the cause. I don't know that I've ever done it all. But maybe I'm lazy. Maybe
All
that's
right.
because I'm lazier than Fred Durst,
Let's get back to the game.
Oh, man. Why?
Florida -9. Oh, my gosh, GP. Florida -9. Miami. Malik Reneau's been their best player. That's been as expected. Trey Donaldson has also looked solid. But can Florida just get a win with some breathing room here? 3-point shooting might be a problem this season. I'll give you a heads up on that in the offseason there. Only 3 games in. So, again, not go nuts with the data just yet. This is what we call a small sample size, okay? 21.1% from deep so far for the Gators. I'd like to see a strong statement. This is Florida's 3rd high major opponent of the season. I'm wondering if Florida is actually the only power conference team to schedule 3 of its first 4 against Power 5 foes. It might be, actually. 9's kind of kind of swell, but I'll go with it. Todd Golden. Hey, Florida fans, I'm picking your team to win, and I'm picking them to cover 9. Gator boys, get hot before you stay hot.
Miami is 3-0, but the 3 wins are over teams ranked 220th or worse at KenPom. So we'll see. This is Jay Lucas against one of his 2 alma maters. Started at Florida.
There we go.
Finished at Texas. I'll also lay the points. Do you think Miami is an NCAA tournament team in year 1 under Jay Lucas?
No.
Some people do.
Yeah, well, those people will be wrong.
Wow, you're awful confident in your.
Yeah, no, Miami's not going to the tournament year 1.
You are awful confident in your dismissiveness of Jay Lucas's program.
Yeah, you got a problem with it?
I mean, no, not me personally,
I'm trying to lean into my inner Fred Durst, I guess. That's what's going on here.
What do you think Fred Durst is doing today? You think they're still out there doing it? I don't care. Do you think you can be like 55 years old out there still yelling about how you did it all for the nookie? That sounds like a young man song.
It does. You know, what do you want?
Can I find, if I went to YouTube right now, could I find a 2025 version of Fred Durst?
I think you can, although I understand that I believe Limp Bizkit lost their bases recently, so they might not. That was in the past few weeks, I think. But
you know a little. It sounds like you know a little bit more about Limp Bizkit than you like to let on.
I'm dialed into the music scene, GP. What do you want from me?
I don't know what I want from you.
I know what I want from you. To pick the game.
I think I'm laying the 9 points with the national champions. I don't feel like I can. I don't feel like I can pick against them. It didn't do me good last March, so I'll get on board with them this time.
Okay, there we go. It's me, right? The N1?
Yeah.
Okay, N1. Saturday.
Okay.
2 Eastern.
All right.
On what? What is it on?
Hulu.
It's on Peacock.
Peacock. I love
Maryland at Marquette on Travis Diener Court.
Okay, I love Travis Diener.
KenPom has it Marquette -4. This is Buzz Williams returning to Marquette for the first time in 12 years. Who you got?
I'm going Buzz Williams. Wouldn't it be nice for Buzz? Is that a sweet? What is this scene going to look like?
What you say? What you say? What you say? What? I think that's what's going to look like.
Is it going to be sweet?
I don't think Buzz Williams is going to be heartily booed when he walks into a building that he never coached in, right? I don't think he was there. How old is Fiserv? Maybe did he coach there?
Yeah, that's been there forever. They've changed the name, but it's been there forever.
Okay, building's been there forever.
Yeah.
Changed the name. Fiserv Forum was built in No, Parrish.
Yes.
No. Yes. I was like, I didn't think so. Broke ground 2016 and opened in 2018.
No, that doesn't make sense. I don't think that's right. I don't believe. Then what did they use?
Been there forever. If by forever you mean 7 years.
7 years is a long time. A lot can happen in 7 years.
Parrish said it's that building's been there forever. It's one of those, they change the names. They do it all the time. No, it opened in 2018.
So then where did they play before that? Bradley Center?
Bradley Center. Yeah. So he's never coached in this building before. At least I don't think he has.
Okay, but still, there's going to be a lot of Milwaukee people there.
Yes.
Who once rooted for Buzz Williams.
Right.
Yeah, sure. They once rooted for. How is Buzz Williams going to be treated by Marquette fans? That's what I'm trying to ask you.
I think it will be tepid appreciation. He did bounce to go to Virginia Tech. So
he did, but he also, his run at Marquette was awesome.
It was a very good run. Yes.
Very good run. I hope they show proper appreciation.
And you're taking Maryland to cover.
Yeah, of course, because I want it to be a good day for
you can't stand Marquette. So
I want it to be a good day for Buzz Williams and his family. I'm rooting for Buzz's family more than anything else.
So you're rooting against Shaka Smart and his family.
No, when Shaka goes back to Texas, or back to VCU. I will root for Shaka's family for the exact same reasons. I'm consistent on this. I want when people to go back to where they used to be for it to be a good experience. I will be rooting for Josh Pastner's family this weekend as well.
Okay.
I mean, I cannot root against Memphis. I got to live here, right? But you get the point. I want people to have good experiences. That's what I mean.
Parrish rooting against Memphis this weekend. Aggregate it. Let's go. Get it done. Chase Ross for Marquette, the alpha as expected, putting up better than 19 a game. The only double-digit scorer, by the way, for Marquette this season. Golden Eagles were the victim of an Indiana blow-by last Sunday. Indiana really played well. That was more about the Hoosiers than I think Marquette. But it is a big spot for Marquette. They're going against a Maryland team with a lot of roles still being worked through. I think Buzz Williams' offense could be a bumpy ride for much of this season. Although I am curious if Pharrell Payne can have a good game if he can feast a bit against Marquette's front line. I typically don't pick 5 favorites, but I guess I'm going to do that here. I will take Marquette -4. Stubbornly cling to my preseason rankings where I had Marquette 25th and Maryland 51. Game is in Marquette's building, which is again only existed for 7 seasons.
It feels like it's been there forever.
And so I will take Marquette to cover and get that done. Let's tour through the other games to know this weekend before we bounce out of here. It's still plenty early. We've got some high major on high major stuff, but a lot of the games on Friday, Saturday, they are high major teams playing other high major teams projected in the bottom half of their league. So there's not a ton of appeal. That said, I'd point these out as kind of games to know. Michigan at TCU, that is on Friday, 9 Eastern, ESPN2. Providence at Colorado, Friday, 9 Eastern, ESPN Plus. That is Kim English going back, playing a game where he was an assistant, worked under Tad Boyle.
I hope it's a good experience for him.
I think it will be. I think it will be. Gonzaga plays at Arizona State. Late night tip tonight, 11 Eastern, ESPN2. I almost made that the N1, but we'll see if Arizona State can be frisky enough to keep it interesting. Gonzaga on the road, and it's looked damn good so far. Let's see what Mark Few's team can do against an Arizona State team that's not expected to do a ton this season. But Bobby Hurley's picked off a few semi-shocking upsets over his time in Tempe, so we'll see what goes on there. Saturday, Clemson at Georgetown. That is at noon on. Come on, Matt. My board's not responding. Here we go. On Peacock, noon Eastern, Saturday, Clemson at Georgetown. Like it. Oklahoma, Nebraska, 7 Eastern, Big Ten Network on Saturday. Mid-major game to watch, Grand Canyon at St. Louis, 8 Eastern, ESPN Plus. That is a quality mid-major affair right there. And then on Sunday, I think the most notable game is probably Notre Dame at Ohio State. Did you see? That's actually a good test for Notre Dame. Ohio State should win, but I think Notre Dame should be better this season. Did you see that stat line from Hannah Hidalgo for Notre Dame's women's team?
No.
Dude, she set the NCAA record for steals in a game with 16 steals in a 40-minute game is outrageous. And then OptaStats sent this along. Hannah Hidalgo is the only player ever, men or women, in the NBA, WNBA, and NCAA. Men or women, any division, no one had ever logged a game with at least 40 points and 15 steals. And she did it earlier this week. Hidalgo, obviously one of the very best players in all of women's college basketball, wanted to give her a shout for what she did on the men's side. Notre Dame at Ohio State on Sunday. And that's what to keep an eye out for.
All right, let's get out of here. We're going to be back at some point on Sunday night.
We'll figure out the time. Again, if you want to be dialed into the show, subscribe to the CBS Sports College Basketball YouTube channel. We've seen a nice little uptick here as the season started. We appreciate that. Spread the word. And subscribe, ding the bell. When we go live, you'll get an alert. And I think the plan is, at some point when Florida and Miami are getting going, I think that's the general idea. Also, I can't start too early anyway. GP doesn't realize this, but I got a child's birthday to attend to on Sunday, so I won't even be clear.
Hey, I got a child's birthday on Saturday. Do we know this about our kids, that their birthdays are right next to each other?
They're a day apart, yes.
Yep.
I'm about to have a 10-year-old, by the way. Kind of wild. Kind of not freaking me out, but it's I remember when our oldest was born. Obviously, why wouldn't I? But tying it to the podcast, I remember when he was born, Sam Vecini, who we might not have time for on this show.
We're going to get to him.
he subbed in on the pod, I want to say, for like 5, 6, 7 episodes in a row. But he was born, and then the next night was the Champions Classic. And I think back to watching the Champions Classic in the hospital room with our firstborn, like on my chest. And I'm like, man, that was 10 years ago. Every single cliche they tell you about having kids and how fast it goes is 100% correct. Like, he's about to turn 10. He's already halfway to when he's going to go to college. And I'm like, how did that happen? So yeah, he turns 10 this weekend. Super pumped to throw him a big party. And he knows about the podcast now, by the way. He knows about the podcast because he knows, like, he's aware of what we do. But it was about like a month ago. You know, they have the Google Chromebooks in their class, and they can research stuff, and you're allowed to, I guess. I don't know how this works with the schools and the firewalls, but you're limited on what you can search on Google, whatever. But he wanted to look up the name of the podcast that we do. Mm-hmm. So I think he just typed in, Matt Norlander college basketball podcast. And so it came up with a screenshot of us. And so he's building something at school, some collage of stuff about his life. And then he goes, I totally forgot about this. I meant to bring it up on the show. I'm so happy I'm doing it now. He goes, Dad, I'm building a collage at school. I looked up your podcast, and he's laughing because he's like, I know what you do. I know what you do when you go in your office. And he goes, you do the podcast. Yes, I do. I go, and who do I do it with? He goes, it's you and Gary Bald. I said, it is Gary Bald. That is correct. I was like, that's not his last name. He didn't know your last name, but he knew your name is Gary. And
that's good enough. That's good enough.
So it was and my wife was in earshot, and so she starts just cracking up.
So my 8-year-old, who turns 9 this weekend, he's our youngest. Similar funny thing. The other night, I'm in studio. It is Brent Stover, Roy Hibbert, me, and Chris Walker. And I'm on this side, and Chris Walker's on this side, and my little guy called, and he was like, Dad, it is so funny. They put you and a guy and another guy who looks just like you on opposite sides of the desk. Y'all are just different colors. Because we're both bald and black glasses, the whole thing, right?
Oh man.
I was like, well, I don't think that was intentional, son.
Yeah. I thought it was just, I need you standing next to Roy Hibbert for some more stand-ups. That's what we need.
Man. Between Roy Hibbert and Brendan Haywood, man. I've stood next to some giants.
No doubt about it.
Well, happy birthday on your end, and happy birthday on my end. And we're going to have good weekends. And once we get everything, all the candles blown out, as they say, then we'll be back here for the Eye on College Basketball Podcast.
And we'll see you on Sunday night. That's a show. Oh, wait, I have a shout.
God.
Go ahead. I have a shout. Listen, you'll approve of this shout.
Okay, go ahead.
Here's the shout. I was going to do it near the end, but I didn't want to forget. Okay. Kayla Davis reached out.
Okay.
She said, my boyfriend Kyle is a massive fan of your podcast. He listens to every episode and talks about it nonstop. Kayla, I don't know why you're still dating this guy, but regardless, appreciate it. He said his birthday's coming up, and I'd love to surprise him with something from the show. I was wondering if it'd be possible to get some sort of shout out. I completely understand if it's not something you do, but I figured it doesn't hurt to ask. Thanks for the amazing entertainment you bring to college basketball fans like him. Kayla, this is for you. Kyle, happy birthday. I actually wrote back. This was the shouts to cbs@gmail.com, by the way. I asked how old Kyle would be. I didn't get a response. I'm not even going to drift. These could be a pair of 15-year-old sophomores in high school. So I'm not even drifting into the other part. But we wanted a shout out. You get it, Kyle. Appreciate you loving the show. You got a good girlfriend who trying to surprise you. And so this is a true surprise at the end of the show. And so that is the shout. I don't do a ton of shouts typically. Kyle, in the spirit of talking about our own son's birthdays, happy birthday to you, however old you may be.
Happy birthday to you, Kyle. I had a similar experience. I got an email one time from this, a woman, I assumed, and she was like, same thing. Boyfriend loves your show, blah, 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 blah. And hey, I'm having a surprise lunch. They planned a lunch right after my show ended, and was like, if you could just stop by and say, it would blow his mind. And I was like, you know what? It'd take me 10 minutes to make somebody happy. I should do that. And I stopped by. And they were high school kids. And I was like, so how old are you guys? And I was like, all right, this is going to get wrong. Happy birthday, but I got to get out of here. This is happy birthday. But I can't be hanging out with high school kids. This is how you. I've been watching the news. I know you can't. I know you're not supposed to be hanging out with high school kids.
Wow.
Yeah. It was sweet, though. It was sweet.
I'm a Sun Devil.
Shouts to Devin Downey. Shouts to Chester, South Carolina. Shouts to Terry Teagle. He's a legend. Huck Larnell. Thank you guys once again for watching, listening to the Eye on College Basketball Podcast. Now subscribe. Please go subscribe anywhere you subscribe to podcasts. Apple, Spotify. More of us than there are of them. Your boy's 10 years old this weekend. How much longer?
We got plenty of time.
Well, we'll see about that. We'll talk to you again on Sunday night. Till then, take care.